Yeah. Hey, everybody. Hello. Hey, everybody. Thank you guys for coming out. We have such an incredible audience. Thank you online for watching. Woo! Yes. Oh my goodness. Hold up. She's not here. Could you please go get Tammy and invite her in the room because she wants to make sure she's part of this. So what we're gonna do is we like to start on time, okay?
Thank you.
So if people are not in the room, we do not punish the people that are in the room because other people are not in the room. If you're online, then you're probably in the room by yourself, but that's great. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get started. And I have an incredible panel, very diverse, all different kinds of backgrounds. And I would say that this is the best panel because we are all awesome sauce and in our own rights. And I want everybody to kind of give you a little background about them. And I think they didn't turn this up really, really loud because the other people in the other room have one as well. So I think we can talk without it. I just like to hold the microphone like I'm Oprah. So
as long as you're
yeah, they should be fine. I'm gonna just hold it and pretend. Okay, but Margaret, go ahead, tell them who you are.
Okay, I am Margaret Knapp. I am a marketing and communications consultant. I've worked across industries, tech, biotech, tourism, the arts. I'm kind of everywhere. In Durham these days, I'm working with American Deco Campus, Duke Gardens, Innovate Carolina. Again, just kind of across the board. And I'm thrilled to be a part of this conversation. Yeah.
All right, roommate, let's go.
Woo!
Yes. Woo! Yes.
I love it. Energy.
The best panel, y'all don't even know.
Great to meet you guys and live audience. My name is Randan. I'm the founder and CEO of Scale Social AI. We're a technology company based in Raleigh, Durham. And the way we work is we partner with small business owners and also museums, attractions to put up QR codes, allowing their visitors and customers to upload content in authentic moments. And we turn that content into viral TikTok-like videos. And then those then become automatically distributed as ad campaigns for the business automatically.
Okay. So what you do is you are having all of the guests, you're pimping the guests so that they can then go ahead and create that content. I love it. Okay.
They're incentivized.
Yes. Right? Yes. Good job. Okay. But you got to do that, right? All right. Eric.
How do I fall the
I don't know, but I mean, you got to knock it out.
There's no fault in that, right?
Let's go.
No. My name is Eric Reese. I am the CEO for WeShift Culture. We are a full-service creative and media agency in Durham, North Carolina. And what we do is help customers, biotech, fintech, travel industry, all over the gambit, help them tell stories that are intentional, geared towards helping them grow their business. We really, really feel that you have to tell a story that moves the needle, not just to tell a story, not just with clicks and likes, not just hey, I want to have somebody come to my website. We want to be intentional.
I like that intentional.
I'm at a loss for words.
All right. Okay. All right. Give it up for Eric.
We just had a 100% increase in our audience.
We did.
They're still in that main room. I don't know when.
Nobody's having as much fun. It doesn't matter. Because I told them the rest of the sessions, they're not as good. Okay, so Jason.
Understood.
And nobody else is live streaming either. Jason, give it to us.
Yes, thank you. So I'm Jason Gillikin. As of 2 months ago, I was the CEO of Earfluence, which is a company that I started back in 2019, audio and video podcast production, getting brands to tell their authentic story to grow. And then as of 2 months ago, we were acquired by Walk West. And now I'm the VP of Audience Growth at Walk West. And Walk West is a digital marketing agency that does podcasts now, paid media, PR, that type of thing, with an AI touch as well.
Yes, I love that. All right, give it up for Jason. I am your wonderful co-moderator. I'm Chisa Pennix-Brown. Our company is Give It to the People. We like to say that we're a mental wealth company, getting your mind right and your money right. We do curated conferences, and when you pay us and contract us, then we help you do your marketing for the event so that we can have a wonderful turnout like we did today. And let's just go into it. So I want you guys to open up your envelopes. See, it's a surprise. They didn't even know. Oh, what? Right?
Small experience.
Okay, experience. I told you. So, not only is this a thank you card, do you feel that card start? Quality, right? Okay, you checks on the thing, right? You see, you got little gold labels and everything.
Yeah, right. Yes.
Okay, see, that's how you got to do marketing experience. So, our thing this year was be in the ecosystem. And if you see that, you have your QR code, which will take you to the page for Be in the Ecosystem. But each of you get your own Be in the Ecosystem pin. So if you take that off, you can put your pin on. Ooh, so fancy. Okay, right? So for me, I wanted to start this whole thing out with just letting people know that to me, marketing is an experience. It should be something that should make you feel something so that then you do the call to action. As opposed to you just saying, okay, well, I see it over and over and over again, that repetition. So repetition is good, but did I feel anything that made me feel like I wanted to actually give you my money? Did I feel like I wanted to give you my time? But I want each of you to answer the question, what does be in the ecosystem mean for you in relation to marketing? So who wants to go first? I'm going to let you just free for all it. Think about the question for 10 seconds. And then somebody go. Okay.
I think for us, the partnership that we have with Downtown Durham Incorporated really sort of contextualizes what marketing could mean for the community. And so when we first started the company, we were initially thinking, hey, we're a tech company, right? We do this thing and then magic happens. But I think the collaboration with Durham really gave us a much deeper lens into, oh, by the way, there should be way more foot traffic downtown that will benefit people. So how do you bring more foot traffic downtown? And you start to get much deeper into the conversation and really what it takes to build a community. And so it goes way beyond marketing, right? Like it's community. And that sort of lens really excites us. It's like, oh, this is actually really cool stuff.
Definitely, because everybody's got a downtown, and a lot of people are trying to revive it, you know, and I think that Durham honestly does a great job with their downtown. I want to say that in relation to moving from Greensboro, I have been there 18 years, and then coming up here, Durham has a clear identity. And I mean that from the branding, I mean that from Durham, the city, Durham, the county, and it's this overarching theme that I feel like you want to be a part of this ecosystem because there is connectivity. It doesn't matter race, gender, anything. It's like, hey, we want you to be a Durham. Like, we want you to love being here. So I'm going to transition to, as far as the ecosystem goes, be in the ecosystem. Eric, I want you to answer this because Eric is working with the Durham is Dope campaign. So what's going to be in the ecosystem? I want you to talk about Durham is Dope.
You know, that's a good question. You know, be in the ecosystem in Durham is dope. When you think about how Durham has so many different cultures, has art, has food, has a business community, and how do you put that community into one space and where everybody can kind of like see it, smell it, and feel it, and use the word, hey, Durham is dope, because that makes what Durham dope is about. That was what we tried to embody in that campaign. Like, we wanted to make sure that in the mere God of it, hey, Durham is dope. Oh yeah, Durham is dope. And then what do we have to do to tell that story? And that's where, when we think about being in the ecosystem, it's one thing to be in the ecosystem. What ecosystem are you going to be? Is an ecosystem where things are moving and shaking, or is an ecosystem where people are standing still? And that is, I think, if we can make it here, it's like, where do you want to be and how do you want to be?
I like that. Now, Margaret, I want to transition to you for being in the ecosystem, and I want you to touch on when you started Freelancers Happy Hour.
Yeah.
And we also talked about why you stopped it.
Yeah.
So if you can give us the ecosystem for you, what does being an ecosystem mean, but then explain how you brought all of those people together.
Yeah, that's great. To me, the ecosystem needs to show up. I know that there's a lot of digital components to what we all do, but I think the biggest opportunity that we all have is to show up in our community, in the ecosystem. That is something that is very near and dear to my heart and work that I've done for many years. So Before the pandemic, I'm gonna be probably 5 years or so, I created and ran a community for independent workers and freelancers. I saw that, we have all these conversations about entrepreneurs and small business, and I was like, well, the smallest of businesses also need a community and a place to get together, because I knew from my own work, and most of my 20 years I have been independent. So I knew that most of my work actually came from referrals from other independent workers. And so I left my job in tech, which I love, but also was ready to transition back to what I knew. And I was like, this time I really know how to do this. I know how to make money. I know how to create value for my clients. I know what my value is to the ecosystem. And I was like, well, wouldn't it be so fun to see everybody all in the room together, right? And we could get some money flowing. And so the first event that I threw, I think there was maybe 15, 20 people that showed up, but that was enough. I was like, well, that was fun. So I did it again, 50 people showed up. And then from there, it grew until I was running a community of 2,500 freelancers of all types. For me, it was important, to really get opportunity flowing and to really be in the ecosystem, right? You need to bring all those different folks together. So there was a place for technologists and for creatives and writers and hairdressers and librarians. I had just a fabulous time meeting all the different people who were doing work the way that I was doing it, and we got opportunity flowing, and that's how we met.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yes, because she made me want to come. I saw the stuff online, and I was like, well, we're moving up there. Let me go and see what this ecosystem is about, right? And then it came, and I was like, this is fabulous. Love this. And it was one of those things where it was like, you made me want to meet you, if that makes sense, right? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna drive, you know what I'm saying, an hour to come up here. And it was worth it. And and then now we have a friendship, and we're awesome. So,
That's likewise for me. It was that was the whole point. Is it's awesome somebody wanted to meet me, but I am always happiest to meet the person in the room that I don't know. Like this is to bring some strangers together so I can make some new friends.
Come on, strangers.
It was exactly.
Yes, you got it.
And I made a lot of friends, so and I loved seeing some strangers out there tonight who might be some great friends. I don't know.
Yes. Now, Jason, for you, you're working in a different area, right? And so yours is with the podcasting. So that's a totally different community, and we had a whole nice chit chat about that. I love the podcasting community. I love podcasting, and the technology is different, and it's moving rapidly. But when you talk about that ecosystem and then wrapping it into what you do here in the triangle, then give us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I don't think we can talk about ecosystem in Durham without mentioning American Underground and the other co-working spaces. So we set up a studio at American Underground in 2022, and that allows us to be connected to all these small businesses that are looking for some of the same things that we're looking for. Like, how do you do this with marketing? How do you raise funds? If I need a lawyer, who do I go to with this? And so everybody there is always so ready to contribute and help you out. And that ecosystem is like none other. The co-working ecosystem is like none other. It's a true rising tide mentality. And that's why we're just so engaged with being there. And I encourage anybody to go to American Underground or the other co-working spaces around here and just kind of talk to everybody there, because it is that rising tide that we help out.
So I want you to, and then we'll come back down, but talk about also the acquisition, right?
Sure.
So I do not want to sell my business to anybody, but I want people to just give me money. Anybody want to do that? Good job. And I don't know, maybe it's just because I just want to hold on to it, I don't know. But what does it feel like? Because now that's a whole entirely different type of ecosystem. It's a whole entirely different thing because your role is different now with the marketing.
Yeah.
So give us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, overall it's awesome, but it's also weird to not say that I'm the Earfluence CEO anymore, right? There's a lot of mental gymnastics involved with that. So there's no question about that. But for me, I'm just a little bit impetuous and want to move fast with things. And I just wasn't moving fast enough in growing the business and what I wanted to accomplish. And so I would look at the end of the day and be like, what did I actually do to make more money? What do I do to move the business forward? What do I do to truly help my clients? I'm like, I need some help here. So we started looking at partners, and we had some offers from other podcast production companies, but that really didn't feel like a 1 + 1 = 3 situation. So I wanted somebody that could truly help us and be a part of their marketing efforts, not just in podcast production. So it's, if anybody's thinking about doing it, I would love to talk to them. It's great overall, but you do have to go through that, again, mental gymnastics part of it.
Now, Ruben, when you talk about, you mentioned a lot about the partnerships. So a lot of people say, I want to work with other people. Raise your hand if you want to work with other people. Okay, all right. But raise your hand if you know you can't work with everybody. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure that y'all knew that. That was a trick question. Every hand went up, right? And so with that, what are you looking for when you are going out to build these partnerships, right? To say, listen, we have a product. We want to help you do better with the marketing. And of course, you have a proven track record, but what are you looking for? So that this way you can kind of help the audience say, if I want to market my business to somebody else, these are things that maybe I should look for if I want to partner with other people.
Well, that's a really good question.
Thank you. I love it. I just made it up.
So I'll contextualize it with a use case or a case study, right? So we have an active dialogue with Duke University on how that conversation came about was speaking with many of the restaurant owners who are clients of ours here in downtown. They're like, hey, look, Duke gets new students every single year. Why aren't they not here, right? We went to Duke, said, hey, why is that the case? It turns out Duke is launching a new app, a new program that sort of, think of it almost like an orientation for new students and new staff to cultivate the history of Durham and introduce all of the businesses here to them, right? Really cool stuff. Do you guys know about it?
No.
Exactly. And so we're like, okay, well, could we bridge the gap? Because it's almost as though Duke, and I went to Duke, so I can talk about that. It's like a microcosm in itself. It's a self-contained bubble. How do you break the bubble and sort of build a bridge, right? And they've tried a bunch of things. Like, hey, can I build a shuttle and shuttle students downtown? Tried it, didn't work. And so, to your point, when we think about partnerships, it is really very much of a 1 + 1 is greater than 2, greater than 3, whereby we all bring a piece of what we have to offer to the table. But that piece by itself isn't that really interesting. But we have all of these other pieces in place, it could be a whole lot more interesting, right? And so the scenario that we're envisioning in this particular case is, can we bring students to downtown Durham, right? Can we have downtown businesses participate in some kind of an incentive program to really engage with the students and the staff? Can we build in our capability to market this holistically as a community? And that forces us as business owners to think about, oh, well, I'm just here to service one client or 2 or 3, but rather more of an ecosystem.
I like that idea though. I like the idea of that. And I know like specifically in Greensboro, they did a whole thing where they were calling it boomerang. So their thing was, we want you to come back because you used to live here. You grew up here. And so they started this whole campaign to say, you should come back. And then they started really doing articles and things of that nature to try to say, well, these people came back. And so this is one of the things that kind of keeps them, because that's interesting. But I like the fact that you mentioned the college kind of its own microcosm, because people stay on their college campuses and everything is self-contained because they make it that way so that you don't have to go anywhere else. And it's so crazy because it's like you don't know anything. So I went to school at Elon, and as much as I love Elon, I was at A&T all the time, okay? But that's where the cute boys were at, all right? And so, I mean, I'm married now, it's okay. But it was just kind of like, you have to go out. So for us, it was self-contained, but it was also a smaller environment. So that was one ecosystem, right? But then broadening and say, let's go to some other things made perfectly good sense. Now I just went back to celebrate like my 25th anniversary for my sorority, and everybody is staying on campus and not reaching out to other people. Like, we met other people at other schools. We went to those things. So it's just really interesting to me that schools are so self-insulated that they don't do that. But I love the fact that they're actually reaching out to some of those downtown things. Now, Eric, I want to go to you, and I want you to talk about the fact of specifically why you chose where your office is located. Because you could have, this is a good question, right? You could have chose anywhere. So I want you to tell them where your office is located, and if you don't mind, telling them some of the things that you have coming up that you do in this area in relation to marketing.
So everybody knows what favorite corridor is, right? You know where Hayti Center is, and you know where Central is. So we're smack dab, just think about in the middle. Like you throw a dart, we're right in the middle on Favorite Street. On Favorite on Simmons. If you know the old black hospital that used to be an old black hospital and the old black hospital president's house, we're right behind that. So we're intentionally there because in that community, they need to have businesses that are there. And that community is the next forefront of where Durham is going. Because Durham, that area was blighted for many, many, many years, right? They put 147 there, it pretty much killed that area. That's the Hayti and Old Black Wall Street. They got rid of it. It was decimated. All the first black doctors, all the first black dentists, all the first black professionals were in that area. But now there's a few people who are there now, but there's lots of old black business owners that are still there and still thriving. But they are now, that area is now where Durham finally, in the city and the state, is looking at it and saying, okay, this is where we should pay attention to. This is the area between, we had South Point down there, and now we have downtown. Okay, what's next? You know, you have this area, so that we're right there. And we have a model, right? We have lots of big corporate clients. We have big corporate clients and we have small clients. But the businesses in the community need our business. Need to do marketing. I have a saying, no companies too small for marketing, no companies too big for marketing. Everybody needs marketing. Because marketing is the growth engine that helps businesses grow. So people say, hey, I've been asked to move. It's funny, I was telling a story yesterday to one developer, that came by. I was sitting in front of my office, and you know the areas, my area. It's okay. My office is gorgeous inside, but outside is a little bit. You got to be mindful. So I'm sitting out front, and the car pulls up with 10. I'm like, whoa.
You gotta watch out with 10, y'all.
And he pulls up with 10. And he's like, and he gets out and says, it's the developer that I got to know. And he's like, and I was telling him, I was like, listen, I said, I get asked all the time. The office Chapel Hill, the office moved all across Durham. I'm like, because we have a good client base. And I said, no, we're not moving. We're not going to move our business because this is where the community is. This is where the original black businesses were in Durham. So why am I going to move? Why don't they come to us? So that's why we're there. In that area, if you guys made a lot of on the last 2 years, they've been talking about, hey, revitalizing that area. Not really revitalizing, because revitalizing it kind of suggests that they're going to displace. They're not going to. They're trying to rebuild it without displacing, because it's so important that's why I got like that. They put 147, all the businesses died, all the black, and that's where all the original black millionaires were. So all the black businesses were that. I mean, I was in a meeting, and I met a gentleman whose dad was the first podiatrist, and another person was the first dad was a black dentist. And I'm in my office where the first pediatrician was, right? And everybody's like, "Why is a kid?" I was like, really? That's why my voice like that? I had that weird pipe up the wall that's like a workout, but I can't figure out what it is. But that's why we're there. And we always say that real business, marketing is the growth engine. And I was joking with your guy earlier, where in most corporations, the marketing is the first to get fired or last get hired. But the thing about it is we are the growth engine. All of us here help businesses grow. We are the reason why businesses are surviving. But too often, that people put it to the side. So we got to make sure that we're in place to help businesses of all sizes.
Now, I wanted to ask him that question because it ties back in, if you were here earlier, when they showed the video and they were talking about the development that is happening over in that particular area. And so, they do have a program now, if you do want to locate your business in that area, to help you get funding so that you can move over into that Fayetteville Street corridor. So anybody that's interested in that is not my area of expertise, go talk to one of those other people at the table, because they can help you with that. Latasha would probably be the best one to help you with that specifically. I know a lot of stuff. I am resourceful, but that is not my area of expertise. So I can tell you there were people here earlier that are working specifically with that program. Part of that does come from the Office of Economic Development, Economic and Workforce Development. So the people up there at the table, a lot of them can help you with that, specifically if you're looking to have a physical location. So now we're going to transition over to Margaret. Margaret is like an Olivia Pope okay? You know, but she's white though. If y'all watch Scandal, okay. But she's like the white Olivia Pope, because what she does is she helps people a lot of times when they're having bad things happen to make sure that she can mitigate that. And so that's a different type of marketing, right? Can you talk about, don't tell us anybody specific, because we probably will be like, yes, okay. But because that's the thing, like sometimes bad things happen. Like if you have a bad Yelp review, you know, and I know a lot of people may not necessarily be on like the college level where it's a scandal, right? But at the same time, we still have things that happen with our businesses that we may need somebody that's a fixer to kind of do that. So that's a different side of marketing. Can you talk about that for me?
Yeah, so that's like reputation marketing, right? It's crisis communications, but would be, you know, how we resolve or approach some of that stuff, and then reputation marketing is kind of like what oftentimes the goal or what I'm there hired to help with. So again, in most cases, there's, you know, positive ways to build reputation, and at times there are challenges to overcome. I have gotten a lot of stressed phone calls. Usually I'll be like, oh man, that event we're gonna do or whatever. Oh wow, they must have just got my plan and are really excited to talk about it because I'm getting a call right now. And instead I hop on the call and it's like something totally different, and something that has come up that does, you know, warrant a crisis situation. So when you're talking about, you know, real estate developments or actual places where people can be, and there's a lot of different situations that could entail these days, and some that can be, you know, dangerous. And so addressing those kind of situations, and really, and the whole other range, right? So it could also be, a bad Yelp review, or some sort of like social media backlash where you're saying like, oh my gosh, this you know, should be nothing kind of event or interaction or an upset person now is reaching a lot of people. Right. And so usually somebody has just decided that they are going to blow you up on social media, one of my clients up on social media or something like that. And so then it's like, okay, what are we going to do? The first thing you want to do is just, you know, is stop it, is to counter it, is to, you know, just move swiftly to say something back. Usually, that's not the best move, right? It's the hardest. It is the worst. The hardest, and to feel like you, you know, that what you need to do right now is control the narrative. There is no such thing, y'all. There is no such thing as controlling the narrative. When something is totally out of hand. So again, first thing you have to slow down, be like, all right, I don't need to react right now. I need to consider what is the proper response and who can help me with that. Just because you don't have somebody, you know, on staff or on retainer, doesn't mean that there aren't people in your life who, you know, are other peers or businesses that have dealt with a challenging situation like that. So be resourceful. And I think when people are like, oh my gosh, this blew up on TikTok, for example. So now hundreds of thousands of people are seeing this and you know, or the post and misinterpreting it, or, you know, reacting in a way that I didn't intend. So the first thing that you want to do is like, okay, well, I'll just send out a response to that, or I'll send out a, you know, say, you know, try to add more fuel to the fire. Is usually what that ends up being. And you're so focused on what a whole bunch of people who do not know you in the moment, they have been exposed to your brand or your gaff or whatever it is. But those aren't the people that you need to kind of get right with, right? They're not going to remember you. This is entertainment for them, right? But you do have an opportunity to reach out to the people But yeah, the people who are closest to you, the people who are your customers, who cares what a bunch of people, I know that it's hard and it's, you lose sleep and it hurts. And you probably learned some really hard lessons from a big, incident like that. But the most important thing is, okay, my customer base, the people who actually spend money with me, how do I make it right with them? If I'm a restaurant and for some reason, a bad review has gone viral, then, I still want everybody else, all the rest of my regulars, to know that it's still the same old me and that this is a business. I've built this business for you. I'm having this experience right now and I just really appreciate your loyalty. And it doesn't have to be in the next 4 hours after the incident happens. Sometimes just slow down, don't do anything, don't respond, don't make it worse, and really think about who is your customer and how can you, and your network, and how can you, rebuild a bridge with them first.
I like that. So we're going to transition into one of my favorite topics now, which is AI. And I'm going to use this example that Margaret just used. So what I started doing is, and anybody that knows, I use ChatGPT the most. So since I pay for her, I call her Chatty. All right, you can call me whatever you want to call her. Her name is Chatty over here. And the thing is, what has been a lifesaver is to ask Chatty how to professionally say GT. Okay, should I give you the acronym? GT. FOH WTBS. Do y'all know what that means?
Oh, yeah, yes, I do,
Yes.
yes.
Would you like me to hum it? Get the out of here with that. Okay, all right. All right, guys. Now I put it all together. Look, you see, y'all feel me, business owners? Yes. So what I've learned is now I have a team, so to speak, that if I get aggravated or need to discuss something and I need to respond, again, that is not my initial response is going to be that acronym. And so that's not the best way to respond. And if you're going to write things down, because I will screenshot stuff. Who's Queen screenshotting? Queen and King? Because I need to have a record of what you said and what I said. And I have the original email and the whole, y'all, okay, you with me. All right, good job, business owners. This is a class now. So the thing about that is I need to make sure that I'm saying things in a professional manner, right? But possibly being curt. I mean, you can use all different kinds of words. So what I do is I call my husband, I explain first. And anytime I have a response, me and Chatty, we have our discussion, and we may go through 2-3 iterations of said discussion, and then I read it to him, and he's like, "That's the one." And then I have my other little team of people, and I read it to them, and we say, "Okay, well, I can't send it to this one person reads it because they're going to add in another version of this thing, right?" So for me, AI has been wonderful because AI has been a great way for you to professionally say, WTF. Okay, all right. So I want to talk to you guys about AI and how you use it in marketing, if you use it at all. And what do you think about it and where it's going future-wise as far as helping businesses market? And so, Jason, I want to start with you.
Sure, and I love your example
Thank you.
of email.
Yeah.
I also like to take emails from clients that might not be the right tone, and put that into ChatGPT and say, "Can you make this friendlier?" And so that way,
I like it.
I know, like I can kind of translate. Yeah, so I'm not as sturdy. Anyway,
I like that. Okay, I'm gonna try that next time.
there's a lot of ways that we're using AI right now in marketing. And I feel like AI can allow for authentic connections, authentic conversations at scale. And what I mean by that is, in podcasting, for example, you have these 30-minute, hour-long connections with somebody, right? And that is a real, authentic connection. You have a great conversation with that person, but then what do you do with that? and AI can make things spread so much faster. And what we're doing is taking all those recordings, we're doing our magic with editing, of course, but then turning it into so many short form clips. And Rumman will talk about short form clips also, but turning those conversations into all these short form clips using AI technologies that can be used for YouTube, for Instagram, for Reels, for TikTok, for LinkedIn, for all the different places. So we're doing that. But then we're also making it so much faster to do some of the other things. So like it would take us so many hours to do titles, to do show notes, to transcribe, and to create blog posts and articles based on these episodes. Now with AI, it's not that we're replacing what we're doing with AI, we're accelerating it. And we're making it so much faster. What would take us, let's say, 6 hours to do in total, now will take us about an hour. Right? And so that's how we're taking those authentic conversations and scaling.
Okay. Now, I want to leave everybody with at least one resource as well. So is there a particular app that you're utilizing in order to be able to use your short form video?
Yes, Opus.
Okay, I use Opus also.
Yeah.
OPUS is Opus Pro when you go online. Opus Pro, and it's a wonderful app. What do you pay for? It's like $10. Well, I have the lowest one because I don't do a
I
certain
feel like
thing.
it's like 20.
Yes, it's not a really expensive thing, but it definitely will help you to cut up. So, and even if you have a short video that's 5 minutes, it will still give you 10 video clips of that.
Right.
And it tells you the relevancy score. It'll, like you said, it'll title them. It'll give you a description of each individual video that it does, and it will allow you to just go ahead and share it directly to social media too. So if you're like, okay, well look, I want to share it right here to my Instagram, you can do that, and you can put it out, and then ta-da, it's up and it's good to go. So Opus is a wonderful one.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but it makes it so much faster.
Yeah, it definitely does. I love them. I just hate, depending on how you have it, they'll cut it up and some of the things are off a little bit.
They allow you to edit now.
Yeah, but if you just didn't edit, right? Some of it cuts it off a little. Yeah, that's not visually, it's not as appealing to certain things.
Yeah.
But no, it's a really cool thing. Okay, and Eric, how are you using AI?
So I use AI in different forms. So one of the things, most practical ways I use AI is in Zoom. Right? Zoom, you can turn AI on. And if you're having client meetings that normally take an hour, right? And you're going through, we did one yesterday. We had 2 client meetings back to back. And we were doing a debrief on the project that we're working on, trying to go through with them. It's really, really challenging to have, normally when you would sit there, when somebody be typing, or somebody be clocking, and it's just so distracting. You have to tell the client or tell the person, say this, I'm taking notes. And that is so not authentic anymore, right? It's like people are like, oh, wait, you can do something else better than just look down at paper or type while you're doing it. And that's a practical way I use it, right? Because there is so many, Zoom has one built into it that is pretty phenomenal. I can't think of the name of the one that I actually pay for.
Is it Otter? OTTER.AI.
One that I love ChatGPT, but what makes ChatGPT really dope, I'm using the word dope, is when you add to Apple Intelligence. Apple Intelligence overlay with ChatGPT it will be, especially for your car. If you're trying to have an outside thought, and I'd be careful with AI. I think I was talking to somebody earlier. You gotta be careful as business owners, because it's not authentic it's not the authentic client. Because if you have a specific product that you're trying to get to a client, you can't just think that you're going to know what the client's voice fully by just talking to AI and asking them to give you messaging for Instagram, messaging for your particular audience and your product. You gotta be careful with that, right? But if you're saying, hey, listen, I'm trying to flesh out a script. I'm trying to flesh something out. You can have an Apple AI and Apple Intelligence and ChatGPT built in. I mean, when you put those 2 things together, it is absolutely scary and magical, because it can have a full-fledged conversation about, and you can sit through and work your thoughts and iterations, and really like you're talking to a robot. And you could drive for an hour, and you could when a product that is done, you could wow, this is really scary. And that is something I do that from time to time. Don't tell anybody I'm crazy. I'm joking. They're like, why are you in the car talking to himself? It sounds like he's on the phone.
I do it every Wednesday.
But that's another thing I use. Another thing 2 things I don't, and I think that I just wanted to try it out because I was in a rush the other day and I was doing a presentation for it. don't use the PowerPoint AIs.
Yeah.
Those suck. And I use that word intentionally. Because what they're doing is they're trying to sell you on something that really is not, it's the most inauthentic thing that you can use. It's not what it's going to, when they give you, they're going to suck you in for the $9, $12, the $16 that they're going to get you on. And those are not presentations that you would take into a board. Mm-hmm. They're not presentations that you would take into something and try to sell your company. And I just saw it because I was doing all these ads. Let me try it out. And I find my team do really good presentations. Like we do, pretty good, right? But I want to test it out because it was a Saturday morning. I had a game, my son's game, and I said, I'm gonna test it out. I was like, I was up all night. Saturday night, I was like, this is hard. This is wretched. The message, and then people rave about Pop AI. Pop AI was on. Don't do it. Okay. Hope you're not recording. Sorry, I won't sue you.
We are recording. Pop AI
That's
not
what I
paying
say.
any money, so.
That's why I don't think that's the way you want to show up for your clients. Now we have to show up for your business because you represent your business, the voice of your business, and how your business looks and feels. They can't replicate your brand. And people are that. Then also I say is you like I like the video ones that is great, right? But you gotta be careful with the ones that say I'm gonna design a logo for you. Right? Because that's not gonna embody. You can't get a logo that represents your business from a computer who you've only told part of the story.
Right.
And missing the human aspects of why you're doing your business. You could tell it because it's not taking all your feelings, taking everybody else's feelings in. That's been data dropping into it. So that's my feeling on AI. I have a love-hate relationship with it. Okay. I love it on my iPhone. I do recommend, and if people think I'm crazy, we'll scare you. Seriously, you get paid ChatGPT and Apple Intelligence, you might want to stop using Apple AI because you'll be like, that's really good. But it's amazing. It just shows you how far technology is going. And what he's doing with it's magical. I didn't know that until about an hour ago. And I'm like, that is what AI, that's the future of AI. That's how you're supposed to use it.
And guess what? We're doing 2 sessions. So ours is the best session. You can go to the other sessions if you like. But if you stay here, you get like 2 hours of marketing stuff. Oh my goodness, I just told you. Okay,
I don't know.
all right.
You might.
Look, I mean, you can go to the other sessions though. You may want to be diverse. Okay, a little diversity out there. Go to another session if you like. Okay, all right. How are you using it?
Want to echo everything that Eric and Jason have mentioned. We use it in similar ways on that level. We are a tech company first, then a marketing company, right? And so natively, we think about AI in a very different way. Maybe a little bit of background, I built my career in AI. So initially with IBM Watson, then a lot of NLP stuff. I built my first telemedicine platform using AI, but we never exposed the patient to the AI. And that became a founding principle behind how we think about technology. Imagine like you're already really concerned, my child's having a fever. Do you want to talk to a robot? You don't.
No.
Right? And so we championed, and this is like 2017. We championed this notion of human-centric experiences. And so what we did is we built the AI that empowered nurses who interface with the patients.
Okay.
Okay. So now the company I'm building, Scale Social AI, works in a very similar way. We said, you know what? All that, you probably have come across tons of these tools that generate AI content. Great, may work in some very specific industries, but the business owners that I know, I was a business owner myself, our entire brand, reputation, business, customer base, it's built on us, right? Like authenticity really matters. And so we said, you know what? We're not going to be an AI first company. We can use AI in a way that is going to be conducive in scaling out that authenticity. And so the way our technology works is we put the customers in front of a camera. Think about going to a restaurant. You'll see our QR codes across the restaurant that says, hey, share a moment with us. You get a free ice cream, a free drink, whatever it may be. It's a great, fun experience. The customers will upload content, photos, videos, onto our technology. And then we use AI to stitch together short form videos and then turn them into posts and also ad campaigns. So now we're humanizing this entire experience because like most of us see ads all the time and most of the ads are kind of right? The way we think about ads is, well, it's almost like doing customer word of mouth marketing. It doesn't feel like an ad. And it's changing the game for small business owners. So that's one level. The other level is we build tons of AI agents ourselves.
Okay.
So I have a virtual assistant that organizes all of our conferences. I literally put in a not QR code, but like a URL. Hey, I'm going to this conference. Tell me what I need to do. It'll research the whole thing, who's attending, who the keynote speakers are. If it's a 3-day event, based on what I understand about your business and your business goals, these are the sessions you need to be in, and these are the people you need to talk to.
Wow.
Here are all the booths that you need to be visiting. All of that done in like a minute, right? And so because we're a tech company, we think about ChatGPT and the tools in the utilization of that framework in building highly customized, specialized agents that allow us to do work much faster. So super happy to share about that maybe after the session.
Okay, all right. And Margaret, how are you using it?
Yeah, I'll keep it. So I said I'm gonna keep it quick, and then I'm like, and I began my career,
You know what?
in the music industry, right? And so I got started just in total chaos, right? And so I think that if I was talking to myself all those years ago, and I was like, listen, you know what you're really excited about these days? Systems, process, plans. That is what really makes a marketing team, a marketing effort, consistent and effective. I would be like, wow, you turned out pretty boring. But I have learned over the years just how important it is to have that structure in place in order to achieve results for my team or for my clients, and or to help their teams know what it is that their role is. What is everybody trying to do? How are we doing it together, right? That's what it takes, that kind of clarity. AI is very helpful with that, right? For organizing, drafting processes, drafting, just simple statements, for helping to, create the format for a plan. It doesn't mean that all that I say, well, write me a plan for this. No, but it's like, help me structure this. And, then what other pieces of this, marketing program do I need to think through that's beyond the creative or campaigns or messaging? Yes, that's what I love, and that's the creative piece that is exciting and appealing and the human-oriented stuff. But when it comes to creating a foundation for a successful marketing program, AI is real helpful for pulling all of that information together, helping to organize it so that you can easily tell other people what it is that you're trying to do, even within your own company, right? So sales and marketing, they're always, they need to be better aligned. You can build systems for that, and AI can be really helpful. You know that you want that to happen, right? And that's a great place to start.
I like that. All right. So this is what we're gonna do now. I have, does everybody have a pen? Okay, good. See, good business on this, because I was gonna say I don't have any pens for you. So I want each of you, with these things that says make your mark, I want you to write down one thing that hopefully you felt was helpful in this session. And then this way, hopefully we can share this with the whole event, but we could also share with our speakers so that if there was one thing that resonated with you, then you have that. So this is called my nice notes, all right? So say something nice. on here that allowed us to kind of know like what you got from this particular session. And then I'm going to, I think I should have, I'm gonna because I can get some more. All right. All right. And we have time for, sometimes I like to ask people to ask questions, but that can go awry every now and then. And I want to keep everything on time. So this is what I'm going to do. Instead of you asking a question as a group, you have 10 minutes in between this session and the next session, where if there is something that is a burning desired question, I want you to go up and talk to the individual panelists to get that answered. And then this way, hopefully it serves the purpose of you getting your question answered, but also us staying on time. Now, I would like to say as well, if you, oh no, I gotta go backwards. Yep. If you will, when you go back over to the exhibitor area this afternoon, we have done some things to try to make it easier for you community-wise. So with our company, Give It to the People, we started a membership in January called the Give It, Get It Business Membership. And our goal was to build more community on there. It's a free version and it's a paid version. So classes that are on there on a monthly basis, also interviews with lovely people like this, so that this way you can get, more information. So we do those on a monthly basis as well. And then we always send out helpful tips, like if it's grants that are coming up, or if it's another event, it doesn't have to be us that's hosting it. It could be somebody who would love for you to join today for $0. Can you guys do that? $0, that's all it costs you. So when you go back over there, it's a QR code, you can go ahead and you can scan that. And I want to get a little bit of let me look at my time. Okay, 2:56, so we have 4 minutes. So is there something based on what you wrote down that you liked about this panel? And if you loved it so much and you want to stay to the next one, then you can do that. So we're not going to ask them the same questions because we would be bored up here, wouldn't we? Okay. So now I know Rama has a question, so I'm not even, well, what do you want to say? Say something, because I know it's you. She's like, why are you telling me that? Okay, but how did you feel about the session? Did you learn anything good?
I learned about some apps, but I wanted to understand more in depth with this community, the ecosystem. Yeah, I walked in on the back.
Oh, at that point.
So I didn't really understand how. I heard how it started at 15 and scaled to 25, but I didn't really comprehend.
Oh, okay. So
what it was.
Okay, so that'll be a 10-minute thing, but I can just tell you real quick. She started a thing called Freelancers League. Okay. And she's not doing it anymore, but there is a continuation portion to it, and they have events quarterly now. Quarterly, and so that's something that you can join. They don't charge a fee at all. I haven't been to anything that had a fee to it, and that's something that can definitely be joined. But then she can kind of expand on that a little bit more once we get to the thing. Yeah. She's not going nowhere. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have 10 minutes, and then this way y'all can have an in-depth conversation. Okay, come on, give me something.
For me, I kind of understand AI. I've been using it for a while, very long time.
Okay.
But I did like that we've been kind of talking a little bit more about AI agent and kind of using it in a different perspective.
Okay.
Because with the conference that we're actually going, because I attend a lot of conferences.
Okay.
And sometimes I do go in sessions that may not necessarily be beneficial for my services.
Okay.
I have a PR company.
Mm-hmm.
And that landscape has changed tremendously.
Oh, yeah.
So from that perspective, I also learned more about from Eric as far as the parts of Durham. I'm actually in the Garner area, but I do a lot of business in Durham, so it's really good to hear some of the other communities that maybe have other, avenues for resources that I can kind of connect with my clients to in regards to like real estate and things of that nature.
Okay.
And Jason, I just kind of know because we just talk all the time. So
Okay.
podcast is just we're supposed to be on the podcast. So.
Oh, that was shade. She said, Jason. Jason. She was like, Jason, I was supposed to be on your podcast.
You transition. When we first talked,
They still have some stuff on. This will hook you up. Okay, so anybody knows me knows I like to stay on time. It is 2:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna wrap this up. I want you guys to give yourselves a round of applause. If you guys can come up here, we can take one big group picture, okay? And then you have your 10 minutes to chit chat, and then we'll transition into our next session. Because I like to keep things on time. It's 3:00 on the dot. And then when you come up, bring your papers. Yeah, this is intentional. Bring your papers. Come on. Bring your nice notes. Thank you, thank you.
She's around.
I swear. Oh, I told you I love doing this. Okay, you don't listen to those?
She is the
And then
most.
y'all stay. Okay, come on, come on.
I love it.
Come on, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you are taller, go right back here. If you are vertical, turn right here. We can do levels, we can do levels. Okay. All right. Now we have 4% battery left, okay? So we cannot take all that. We're gonna charge this, okay? All right, is everybody there? Is everybody good? This is my new friend Leslie, I just met her today. Yeah. Man, you don't wanna give me a picture? It's okay, you were still cute though. You sure? Okay, all right.
Are you ready? All right. Say cheese.
Cheese.
All right.
Okay, hold on. Do one video, say give it to the people. You already, we gotta give it to the people.
Oh, okay.
Y'all ready?
Oh.
Okay, we're gonna count to 3. And 3, when I say 3, because every time somebody messes it up. Okay, you ready?
Okay.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Give it to the people.
Okay, boom. You got 10 minutes. All right. Oh, and I have buttons for you guys because I'm really extra. So we have a, what is it called? It's a page that's on, Lord, Instagram. Now we started, when we were doing things from Mary Lane. So Grove City, biz.com, you go to the Instagram page, you go to the thing. So everybody can get a button too. Now, no other session is giving y'all buttons. They don't have buttons at the other session. Get an extra button, Jason. That's a different one. Get a button. They don't have buttons at their session. Huh? That's a different one. So what I that's why. Oh, okay, so all of my stuff is back in the room. Yeah.
I can usually, I remember like, all that, and then it was like.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I get it completely.
No, I don't know. But I've heard it, but I've never been here. But okay, that sounds like I need to sit down. Okay, yeah. Okay, did you see it? Yes. Okay, I will got you. All right. So let me get you this full city. You so you can have that one. You know, extra press. All right. So we're gonna get you. Okay. Okay, so what's some fun stuff for the next one? I guess people have to kind of like reintroduce different people, but I'll ask different questions. Well, 'cause I try to do the Remember the Spider-Man that had the black girl that was Mary Jane? What's her name? No, not today. No. What's this girl?
Right now she's doing yes. Now you don't know. That's what
Yeah. But she's an actress.
It's one of those things like those. Right there, it becomes like a it's
Yeah, but almost way too like they were like,
Education policy. Also doing an internship with HealthSpot. For like yeah. So I was like, oh, see that? Oh, it's happening.
Every strain was like, hey, what you ride? Somebody cared about it.
No, I was like for like years.
I just do it all.
I don't have your phone. I gave you your phone.
Can you bring back a water for me?
I got you.
Thank you.
You got your phone.
You know what?
Jesus.
Yeah. Just it's a 7%. That's all I have. I'll just check it.
Did you enjoy it?
Right, and then like walk in all these places.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, exactly what you said from the last tours and all, but I feel like my mind is always hearing things. Because what you need to see to show like say like
No, I love that. Even just caretaking in general. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people are taking care of their you know, so yeah,
I'll reach out and I'm a listener. I haven't signed up for the.
what is actually coming? You should have that. That one is.
Yes.
All right, take care. I'll see
Yes. So you didn't know they keep up I do. I try to a lot of the things that we do, I try to look at what's not being done. That's really the biggest issue because it's a lot of the same stuff happening all the time. So we try to always approach it from a different aspect. So like they gave me questions to ask today.
So you're doing software?
I use part of one. Okay, because the conversation needs to be different. You know what I'm saying? Like Be able to write for it, because you want to be bored, so, yeah, so I think you have to kind of and learn at the same time. Yes, so if you go back, because I didn't bring any of that stuff in here, when you go back into the room where the exhibits are, ours is like at first, we got an L-shaped thing going, so it's with the flowers and that, just get a card from there. And it's the big one, which is just like, kind of kids, now it's how we work on everything on there. And then let's say, can I get you some, everything, and just.
I know, right? Oh, man. I know, right? Really? Where at?
Okay.
Could I do that without building an app? Could I say to whoever Japanese
I have something that would be a great program for you. Okay, I can't thank you so much. Because I am writing this for you. But Chisa said, I can use his pen for free. And I said, well, I am writing stuff with information for you. He said he woke up, he's so generous today. There is a thing that we work with called District C. And the reason I'm going to give you that is, and not just.
Yeah.
Is that they are their perspective is different than us being wrong. You know what I'm saying? It was a really great thing. They put together a really good program. And so the lady's name that I work with, and we even did a live stream that is that you can go back and watch and talk about the program itself. And so contact information. So that's a free thing. And I'm giving this to my business so that they can be on your page. It's not about charging kids' perspective. And so they put up some stuff and that's like, this is really good suggestion. Like a couple of tweets here or what they would do about how this would be better. And I was just like, so that's something that's like.
I do want to expand that. We focus on like 12 minutes.
And then outside of that, I would say. So when you go back to the business, she actually asked me, she has moms that are out to here, she has one red shirt. She is one of our members, and she's also. She actually.
I was going to tomorrow.
Because she is right back in there. And so, and so, like, I mean, this is like an L shape. That's the and talk to her and tell her I sent you and sure. Yeah, she's working on it. Yes. Okay. So hold on for 1 second. I just what time is it?
3:14.
Oh, we're over our time. We should be starting now. Okay, well, maybe we'll get some people. We'll see. Okay, okay. Yeah. No, thank you. Okay, all right. I'm sure somebody will notice, but we'll go ahead and we'll just wanted to the session open now. All right, so let's do. All right, team. It's 3:14, so, hey, everybody that's in the back, you guys wanna move up forward, maybe? You already love us, you're already comfortable with us. What are you doing? No, okay, if you're comfortable and you like to have Chisa, you can leave them there. What we're gonna do is the same thing that we just did, just because other people are behind, we're supposed to start, so we're giving people a couple of extra minutes to transition to one side to another. Oh, you hear the other room?
Great, please pass the mic.
If you hear us in the other room, I'm really sorry. It's Chisa. I love you guys. Bye.
Are we starting?
Yes, come on up.
It's such a task.
This is the marketing segment.
Yeah.
Wherever you are.
I know.
Somebody's phone is here.
Oh, we said to just leave it there for the end of the session because somebody may come back. And Mr. Frederick, he alerted me. And then if they don't, we'll bring it up to the front at the end of the
I think
session.
I turned off the recording. Oops. They're recording the session.
Oh, okay, so we have a spot there.
I was recording.
Oh, okay, well, see, that's why a spy.
No, I will give you credit.
Thank you, thank you, because none of this was here.
Those were good questions.
Yeah.
So much better.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
But see, I try to tie in, because to me, it just makes sense. If you knew what was happening earlier and you came earlier, tie it in, you know, and give people something real that they can.
It's relatable. It's authentic.
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start. Is there anybody that's new in this session that wasn't in our last session? Raise your hand if you're new, because I feel like you two are new. Okay, so come on up. This is what we're gonna do. Because all of them, they loved us so much that they wanted to stay for a second session. I know you. Hey, girl. Yes, I know, right? Okay. I'm sorry, we get excited when we know people. Sir, this is where you want to be. Why are you looking like that? Come on up here and stay.
I'm an audio guy. I work with.
Oh, okay.
I'm still done.
Well,
Good.
sir, we're not even going to use the mic. Don't even worry about it.
Okay.
No, we're not going to use it. No. It's a prop at this point. It's a prop. Don't worry about it. All right. I thought he wanted to stay. See? So this is what we're going to do. We like to have fun. So our session is not going to be boring. I don't know what you did in those other sessions, but this is always the best one. So they're kind of going to get a continuation of some things. We are not going to ask the same questions. What I want you guys to, oh, yay. Okay. Look at that groupie. Is it a groupie?
That was a group.
It's a groupie?
That was a Ussy.
Ussy? Ooh, I like that.
We use that.
Okay, because groupie, we sounded a little
We use that term.
scandalous. We sounded a little scandalous, right? We're having such a good time up here. It's like we got super loosened up, right? This is just water, I promise
No
you
alcohol
guys.
involved.
No, that's what I'm like, it's just water. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. Go through really quickly, introduce yourself so that the new people can know who you are. And then I have some super questions that I've been thinking about because of our conversation before. And then just in general, that we'll still talk about marketing, but we're gonna bring in some extra elements. So Margaret, and then we'll go on down.
Margaret McNabb, I am a marketing and communications consultant, 20 years experience across industries, life science, tech, tourism, the arts. I'm kind of everywhere. Currently, these days in Durham, I work with American Tobacco Campus, American Underground, Duke Gardens, Innovate Carolina. I'm all over the place, and I love working with small businesses and helping people raise their profile and make some money.
Love that.
That's what I'm in for.
Hey guys, my name is Brendan Don. I'm the founder and CEO of a local tech company called Scale Social AI. We help small business owners turn everyday customers and those authentic moments into viral videos, and then turning those into ad campaigns automatically.
My name is Eric Reese. I'm the CEO of We Ship Culture. We're a marketing creative agency based out of Durham, North Carolina. And we focus on helping businesses research intended audience for content that is can't get it out, sorry, it's been a long day. That is focused on who their customers are and why our customers are meant to be there.
I'm Jason Gillikin. I started a company called Earfluence back in 2019. We do audio and video podcast production to build brands and businesses and help them with their marketing efforts and repurposable content and all that. As of 2 months ago, we were acquired by WalkWest, and so now I am the VP of Audience Growth at WalkWest. So we do podcasts, paid media, PR, and anything to help businesses grow in this area with authentic connections.
Now, I don't like the fact that those other people were laughing louder than us, so can you guys just, we're gonna make some noise for all everybody that. I don't even want them to think that their session was better, okay? So they're trying to compete, they're probably trying to make it ridiculous. Yeah, you did see.
was amazing.
Okay. Yeah, we should implement that, like, every session should have one of those things. Okay, so I have some brand new questions. So I want you to tell us, right now in marketing, what do you feel like is the most overused word that you probably hate and that you would like business owners to think about? And maybe it's the meaning of the word, maybe people are using it incorrectly, but it is a word that you're just like, if we could take that out of the lexicon, I would love to remove that, because people are doing the most or the least, just depending upon who people are.
That's an easy one for me. I can start.
Okay.
So in podcasting, whenever we put an episode into ChatGPT or some of the other AI platforms, every single time we dive deep into this.
Oh my God.
Every freaking time. And so I don't want to hear about deep dives. I don't want to hear about dive deeps, any of that stuff anymore. And if I see that in show notes, I know it's ChatGPT that wrote it. Frustrating. Anyway.
Yes.
What
Okay.
about those F dashes?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Those of us who like it.
I've
Always
done
read
the
that.
dash thing for so long that now I see the backlash. I'm like, oh no.
Okay, so excuse me, you know that you need to explain that just in case, okay? Because y'all are saying words, but you need to explain it so that the audience understands.
So in ChatGPT, it has a habit of producing like that long dash that comes out in writing. Like normally, we can't even generate that throughout a keyboard, but anyway.
This is a telltale that you're using ChatGPT.
What about the asterisks? I love those. I love removing those. Yeah, because they take forever. Because they put asterisks in all kinds of spaces when you're in there. And it's so time consuming to remove those. But I do have a solution. Do you want me to tell you how to remove them quickly? Y'all are supposed to say yes.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Come on, guys. All right. All right. So I take, like, if I have content that has been written in ChatGPT, and then I copy it, and then I paste it into Canva. And Canva has the thing where it says that you can replace. So then I take the two little asterisks that it puts there, and you press replace, and it removes all of them very easily. So use that tip next time if you want to remove some stuff. So that M dash, you can go ahead and do the same thing. You can take that out very easily. If you use Canva copy paste and tell it to remove it, and it's super gone. Okay, all right. Now, what else are you hating?
The word transform.
Transform. Okay.
That is like the most overused word when you put into, especially if you are if you're using like a healthcare client or some sort of business client, and you do anything with with ChatGPT or AI, the word transform comes out, and I'm a little over it. I'm more over the word transform. You can't transform. You can only do so much transforming businesses.
Margaret, do you have one?
Gosh, there's one, I've been trying to think of what it is. I had just such a problem with it. It was a year ago, and I remember having this ranty conversation with a friend, and now it's disappeared from my mind. But I will say that one that I'm seeing kind of come back or referenced more is around collisions.
Oh.
And it is not that I don't believe in this idea that, bring people together and create these, collisions and all that. But I think I first heard that term used maybe like 13 years ago or so. And so I'm like, all right, I don't know, is there something, I don't know, do we need to collect? I don't know. It's nice to be here with you guys. I don't know if I need to collect anybody. If it happened, if you collect with me, like, I'm not gonna hold against you.
Okay, all right, unless it's a car collision.
Exactly.
And then it was full
It's
coverage
like
insurance.
collision. Like,
Yeah.
I get where you're going with it, but the visual, to me, like the visual storytelling element, it just like opens up too many other possibilities.
I'm gonna give you mine, and unfortunately, I have to admit, it is the one that I use all the time because that's what we started out. We had a conversation earlier, Eric. And in 2020, when we decided to start this business, we used the word curate. And now everybody's curating everything. And I'm like, did you really curate those chicken wings? And people that, so for me, I'm very much into words and what they mean, okay? And how they make people feel. And when I looked at, okay, well, what are we gonna do? How are we shaping this business? Curate seemed like a perfect thing because I felt like it was so much more attention to the details and how you make people feel. And so we've been going back and forth about, well, what are we gonna use instead of curate? Because curate will not be going into 2026 with us. Because I see people that when they say, even with the events that they're curating, and their events are not good, okay? So, you know, we can't all be curating because, I mean, your stuff is terrible. And I'm gonna use my Spanish word, basura. If you know what that means. So yes, a lot of stuff that's out there that I just feel like it's not really curated. And so, you know, we have to be considerate with the words that we use. Now, there is another word out here that we've talked about in relation to marketing. And I want you to talk about, because Ruben used the word viral. I think that people feel like they're going to go viral and they're doing some of the most crazy things with marketing. And, you know, I'm going to tell you what I told my husband. Now, is everybody adults in here? Raise your hand if you're an adult. I said, hold up, let me see. This is not technically my event. Okay, I have to bring this word back. But I said in 2020 that some parts might need to be seen more than others because they make money. Does that make sense? And I was just like, you know what? Let me teach and be. I'm not saying negative anything like that, but let's just teach and angle the camera a different way. Does that make sense, right? And I see so many people out here that are getting rich, right, off of things. I just always wanted to get rich off of being smart, right? But it's a lot of people that are just scantily clad and all kinds of things, and they're doing things specifically to go viral, right? And so when you say go viral, all right, I want you to tell me what you mean in relation to good marketing and still having the values of business, right? And trying to attract a customer that you really, really want.
It's such a good way to distinguish the word.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll post this. Business owners here, right? Or entrepreneurs. What do you think is the best form of marketing for you as a business owner?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Bingo.
Yes.
Like if word of mouth works, there isn't really a need for marketing services, right? But word of mouth doesn't just start, right? So you kind of need to have that first initial engine that goes on, that turns it on, and then over time you build a reputation, you have a lot of local growth. But the problem with it is we as consumers exist in such a noisy world that we're just distracted. And that's why marketing exists. It's so that you're top of mind. It's kind of scary. It's also a little sad, but we talk about attention economy, right? And all of these big tech companies are trying to grab your attention in one way or the other. So when I think about viral, or the context of virality, the best way of viral marketing is word of mouth. We're not really here to compete with word of mouth marketing. We're here really on a fundamental level, competing for people's attention. That's it. Yeah.
And you know, let's touch on that. So it's like you go viral for the sake of what? You know, everybody, truth be told, if you're not benefiting from it financially as a business, right? Keep it being viable. What's the benefit of going viral? You know, if it hasn't increased the the cost of acquisition, if it doesn't increase the visitors you need for you to get to your app to be downloaded, if it doesn't increase the people buying more services from you, who cares if you get a million likes? It's like the one with Snoop Dogg. That's a great example. That solo stove thing they had a couple years ago, they fired the CMO. He got fired for that. Like, he got fired because he had this ad. We had Snoop Dogg doing in front of a solo stove, and nobody really got it at first. And he said some smoking.
Smokeless. Yeah.
Smokeless.
It's smokeless.
Smokeless. And he spent all this money on all this Super Bowl ad that had smokeless, and he played the ad for a lot of money on it, and it got no business because nobody understood what it was. And it went viral because like, oh, it's smokeless, but it was for a stove, a solo stove. So it had nothing, it had no context of what he was trying to sell. So it's almost like you go viral for the sake of what, right? You know, it's like a penny pound, what's that saying? Penny wise, pound foolish, whatever it's called. Yeah. It's you can't do that. So it's for the sake of what? And that's why I think a lot of people hear about viral.
I just to add on to that too, sometimes, so just thinking about plans, right? And so the idea of planning for something to go viral is always just like, what exactly are we talking about? What are our goals? How are we going to accomplish that? And oftentimes it's like we're talking about a stunt, you know, from PR language. It's like, because it's like, what are you doing? And again, what's the purpose of it? A stunt is for attention grabbing. And so, or brand building or whatever, but it's not always to just immediately get, folks in your store or something like that. So, but I think it's always helpful to have the language that on the flip side, what is like going viral, what is the action or the activity or the planned event that is supposed to accomplish that. And stunts are okay. Stunts are cool, right? There is a place for it in your marketing plan. But that can't be the whole plan, because everything just needs to go viral, right? Everything needs to be a stunt that's going to get people's attention on that kind of scale. No, don't do it.
We've had a couple clients recently go viral for them with 400,000, 500,000 views on Instagram and then on YouTube Shorts. Great, right? But what's more impactful is a podcast for us called Constructing the Carolinas, where it's Barnhill Contracting Company. They're not viral by any means, but what is viral is one of their clients, one of their partners calling up the host and saying, I want to be a guest on your podcast. That's where the virality for them comes in. And that speaks to what Mario was talking about with goals, is it can't be about going viral and that's it. It's got to be about what are the reasons for this. If I can reach just one person that will eventually become a client for me, that is the impact.
So I want to add to Jason's point, right? I think having the right people that you're talking to, I'm a huge fan of podcasts, obviously, because the closeness of that relationship far outweighs an influencer campaign. When you're sort of a mass blanket, sort of a rapid fire kind of thing, right? And I think in this day and age, we're looking for that more intimate relationship. So huge fan of the work because it creates that space for that conversation.
And if you ever need a guest for a podcast, Robin is your guy.
Yes, he is. He definitely is.
Yeah.
So I want to transition because when we talk about these words and we talk about virility, I like what you said, Jason, because I want people to know something. So I know that, does everybody remember this was the good old days when you actually had to work to try to get people to like your page. Yes. And the thing was you were trying to get to 10,000 subscribers on Instagram. Okay, now, let me tell you why that was important. Because then you didn't have to just pay to go ahead and get a check or anything or to be verified. And then what happened back in the day is once you got to that 10,000, you would be able to put links inside of your stories. So it was like they were setting a goal for you. So one of my pages, we had got very close. We got to 9,000 something. And then they shut my page down. Now, I don't know what I did because I know I didn't put anything crazy out there, but that hurt my little heart and I was so sad. And then I started another page, right? But what that lesson was that I learned was, is it really me trying to reach this goal of the 10,000 people, or is it really having something to sell? And then the people that I'm selling to are actually becoming clients, right? So that means that they're coming to events, if they're subscribing to podcasts, to the newsletter, if they're joining the membership, if they are coming to, something that's online, that was always more important to me. So this is the thing that I think about virility, and so we can wrap the virility thing up though. The one thing that I think, and this ties back into just marketing in general, is that when we talk about the virility, the people that go viral never seem to have a product to sell.
Yes.
And that's my problem.
Yeah.
So if you ever see me on a reality TV show, which I don't know if you will, but if you ever did, I'm gonna have on something that belongs to me, right? And so this is why I'm so adamant about things like, and we're not gonna get deep into this, but like owning my trademarks. That was an important factor to me because the name mattered, right? And so even though there's not a trademark class here today, I would suggest if you do have a business that you feel like is valuable and you do want to, grow that business, own those trademarks so that this way you don't have any issues. And then you can sue people. Yay, that's the only right. So I think that to me, that was an important factor. But every time somebody goes viral, then either their site is shut down or there's nothing for them to buy. And so I think it was Lizzo that just went on Saturday Night Live, and she had on a shirt, and everybody was like, oh my God, she had lost the moment because everybody wanted the shirt. Why did you do that? Like, you wore something that was provocative, like the idea and the concept of it, and people wanted it. And that should have been on your website before you went on this major platform, right?
Yes.
So if you think about things like the virility, right? When we talk about the Super Bowl, and I'm just bringing this in to kind of wrap what we were talking about, they don't even get paid, okay? They don't get paid to do the Super Bowl. But what the Super Bowl does is it gives you streaming. People listen to old music. It's people that are just now going platinum from stuff that they put out in the 90s, okay? So the extraness, and then if you do like Usher did and you go on tour, then it's something, right? And so that's why they don't mind, okay, don't pay me, right? Because you're gonna pay for this performance. So it's not about you paying me, but it's about me getting money afterwards. And so I just want you to kind of think about that in the intent of, okay, well, we're going to stuff, right? So I don't like to go to things unless it's intentional that I'm gonna do something. And that's where we segue to your word. Eric, we talked about intentional earlier, and I want you to give them that kind of vibe for marketing as opposed to just throwing some stuff on the wall.
I don't even know what I said. Unless you
You said some good stuff though.
You said something to the fact of
we were talking about consistency.
Consistency.
Yes.
And I was like, I said consistency, and I made a face like posting every day the same thing or about the same idea, same product is outrageous, right? Because people aren't. It's like people get their tone deaf. It's like you get the same email from your in the email inbox every day from the same company, and eventually you'll stop looking at it because you're not getting more close from that place because you're not intending to buy from that place. It haven't triggered you in a way. You have a connection that's intentional, So I think about for business owners, if you're a local business, you got to be intentional about the clients that you're communicating with. You have to have the community, an ecosystem that you're catering to, because that is where that's in communicating with them in an intentional manner. Know what they like, know why they're there, know what your value is to them. So when you curate content for them, whether it's a post, whether it's a video, whether it's a podcast, whether you're using the QR code, the AI to engage them, it's in an intentional way that's not just posting something. You have people that post every single day, and they're like, oh, well, I have like 1 million likes, and nobody buys anything. I have 1 million likes, but nobody comes to my events. I have 1 million likes, but I have no clients. Well, it's because you're just having people that come to your page and press the button. If they have this trending story that people got this thing down or on Instagram, if you use one of the music that is trending, your video shows up. But guess what? If you're a restaurant that needs people to come buy the food, them seeing you're seeing it and checking the button is not having them coming to your restaurant because the music's playing. What's the content that you're showing them? Is it food about the chef? Is the chef food? How does it taste? How does it smell? Whatever thing you're trying to get across to them that is intentional. So when she said that word on consistency, I about fell out of my chest.
Mhm.
That's exactly what I just said.
Mhm. Gave me the face.
I gave her the face, and she's like, "What do you mean, Eric?" I said, "Well, you have to be intentional, authentic. All the words that, and we use a lot of buzzwords, and we gotta be careful in marketing. I'm using buzzwords. We use buzzwords, acronyms, and we use all type of jargon.
Yes.
But we do, we have to stop doing it. And I try my best not to do it with clients, because clients, this comes off in a way that doesn't seem real. So that's it.
All right, so I have another word in marketing that we need to talk about, Jason, metrics. And I want to talk about metrics because I think specifically in the last, let's say, year and a half, I always looked at, and I'm just going to give this to you too, for everybody in the room. I always looked at metrics in a way that it was like, well, was this successful today? So raise your hand if you feel like today was a successful event. Okay, because I was like, if you don't raise your hand, you need to pay attention. Right now. Okay, no, but the question would be, why do you feel it was successful? So somebody give me an answer to that, and then we're gonna come back to Jason. Why do you think today was a successful event?
Connections.
Okay, because you made connections, okay?
Value add,
Value added to what?
like information.
The information
You
you
can
have.
actually use.
Okay, all right.
Educational, yep.
Knowledge, education, okay. So the way that I used to look at the success was how many people came,
Yes.
right? So for me, that was always the metric. And so previously, in my former life, if y'all are old enough to know about Eddie Murphy, then you'll know. In my former life, I was Joe Clark. But if you're not, then don't worry about that. That joke just went over your head. But the thing about this is, when I was doing most of the work and I was working with the Small Business Center Network, they always had a problem with numbers, getting people in the room. I've never had a problem with numbers with getting people in the room, because the people that come to my stuff like my stuff. They come, they travel. Like if I go to Wilmington, it's people that, like the last time we just went out to, where did we go? Not Wilmington, but Pamlico, right? I've never been to Pamlico, okay? So that's in the New Bern area, but it was somebody that traveled from Durham to come. We did something here. We did something in Carborough. People travel from High Point. You understand, like, the distance people will travel from Fayetteville. So I know that. So for me, it was always a metrics, like how many people came. But guess what? That wasn't necessarily just a metric that they needed to count, okay? And so for our businesses, sometimes we do look at how many dollars, but also look at how many dollars are repeating on a regular basis. So the way that I want to pull this question is, Jason was being real nosy beforehand, because Jason was researching me, okay? And he told me stuff about me. So Jason was talking about the podcast. Feel free to go look up Real Ass Affirmations. And he was tell him what you told me in relation to, Real Ass Affirmations.
It's a great podcast. Also, it has 125 reviews on Apple Podcasts, which was very impressive. You hadn't posted since February of 2024. So that's what I do about it.
Okay, so first of all, Jason was not supposed to tell y'all that part, right? I didn't prep him. I take full responsibility. But this is the thing. This is the thing. Even though I hadn't posted, what I told him is that podcast still makes money every month.
Yeah.
But part of that is that people continue to listen to it.
Yeah.
And with the podcast, there's new listeners all the time, which would be the same thing with YouTube videos that have been out forever, and people still watch them all the time. So it's not necessarily just about one metric, but it's multiple metrics that I think we need to consider measuring when we're talking about marketing. And if you look at that and you turn it into dollars, then does it make sense for you to do certain things? Because when we start to look at where's our money coming from and who's paying attention and what countries could we go to and who else might want to hire us, and it's another county, it's another city, it's another state, there's other ways for people to be able to see you than simply just posting online. So can you touch on podcasting, and then I want each one of us to give us, like, what would be a metric of success that you would tell your clients?
Yeah. So thank you for that lead up.
Don't put me under the bus again. I just met him today, but I feel like we're friends.
She's going to bring the podcast back.
I am.
So for the most part, our clients don't care about the download numbers. And that's because of their goals. We always set the goal for them of, our clients sign up with us for 3 reasons. One is business development and networking. So it's so easy to say, hey, do you want to be a guest on my podcast? And all of a sudden you have a great conversation with somebody that you wouldn't be able to say, hey, can I show you a demo of my product? Or can I tell you about our services? And you have a great conversation, become a partner or a client or whatever, because you have that podcast. Another thing is, or another reason our clients sign up is content creation and repurposing all this content. So from a podcast, you can get blog posts, you can get all the social media clips, you can get videos, you can get all this. And what we tell our clients is how much would that cost to have all that content created for you, but you can do that with us because you have a podcast. Then the third reason is top of funnel marketing and showcasing expertise. And so there they kind of care about metrics a little bit, but it's more about the metrics of, are people buying because they've heard this? Are people contacting them because they've heard this? I'll share a story. So one of our podcasts is called Founder Shares, and it's from Hutchinson Law Firm. They sponsor a lot of events in this area, where they reached out to somebody that they wanted to be a client, and said, hey, would you like to be a guest on my podcast? And that client said no. But that conversation led to a piece of business. Like just bringing that up and saying, hey, would you like to be a guest on the podcast? That person was like, oh, you think of me as an expert, let me actually talk to you. And it led to a $30,000 piece of business.
Come on.
Right? And so that's the type of metrics our clients are looking at, not necessarily the exact number of downloads and the exact views on YouTube.
I love that. Now, Eric, with yours, you have clients that are not in the state, and you also have clients that get big money sponsorship wise as well. So can you touch on that a little bit with a metric that would be important if people are searching for that area?
I have a client that they look at us to build pipeline. We curate next to them, and we actually coming up in 2 weeks at a big trade show for a fintech client, and they're looking to us to turn that event into their opportunity to get clients that their sales team can close this year, next year, and the following year. It's not, they're a repeat offender. I call them a repeat offender because they've been 3 years in a row, and every year they call us in January, and I may pay him and he calls me in January every year, right? And we finish, our engagement ends in May because that's the Super Bowl every year, right? But for him, the metric is pipeline because they're a startup company that's been with us. I think they're in the second round of funding, third round of funding. It's like, what was that Series C? Yeah, they're in third round of funding, right? They're a technology company, and so for them, their metric is pipeline that they can bring to close because they want growth. They want big companies to be using their software and their solution, right? So that's one example of their metric, right? Then I have another client that their metric is they're another technology client. They're small. They started out as a small black travel review site. I really encourage people to look at it. Called Green Book. If you're it is the black TripAdvisor. I'm saying that I won't put the not saying TripAdvisor, it's Black TripAdvisor. But their model is super slick, and their technology is super sharp. But they want us to help them grow their advertising as well as their user base. So that we help them, we deal with big advertisers for them because we're their agency of record. And for them, it is like Durham is coming on this client, and we have say like Maine is coming on this client. And your technology might be a really interesting kind of thing for some activations. But for them, that is the metric is how many destinations or how many corporations that should be on our website because they want to reach the audience that they have. So that metric is very critical to them because so we help them. It's a kind of a marketing, sales, and business development play because they need us to help them to grow that audience. But that's another metric that we use. So then we have clients that are small clients, and their metric is it will tell us how much sales did you help we generate. Period. And that's why I say small businesses, small businesses, I get the awareness. Awareness is big, right? Awareness, community engagement is big. But at the end of the day, you have to find for them how do you bring them to the funnel the fastest way possible? Because for small businesses, you guys are giving. We're all small businesses. I'm a small business. He's a small business. We're small businesses, right? And if we're not bringing you to the funnel, or you're not bringing your client to the funnel as fast as possible, then you can't sustain yourself to build a business. And that's where that metric at the end of the day is closing one deals. Period. But you want to make sure to do that, you have to develop a certain product that has a value to people that you're giving it to. And that the product is driving revenue, but also giving them that nugget that they need to that business so that other client needs to survive. So.
That's my perspective. To Eric's point, our singular metric for our business, for our clients, is net new revenue that is directly attributable to our marketing efforts. Does that make sense? It's like how much net new dollar of revenue you, meaning my company, specifically brought. Now, the way we think about our marketing funnel, that whole journey of getting to that net new dollar is slightly different. So let me take you on the journey. As a business, as a technology company, we can tell our clients the following metrics to get to that dollar. I can tell you how many times a QR code is scanned at any given point in time, which led to how many pieces of content, photo or video, that has been uploaded by any given customer at any given point in time, to the video that is launched across social media, Google, mobile apps, and websites, thousands of these. The reach, so how many people did I reach with that video at any given point in time? Then it gets a little bit more technical. There's this thing called the hook rate. Because we're in the video business, how long did I hold that customer? If they stay more than 3 seconds, that's when you say, yes, we did it. They stayed more than 3. We're in the attention economy, right? Our hook rate is 3 times industry average, right? Because we want to see people. We want to see other customers, right? From the hook rate to the hold rate, that's when someone watched the video the entire way without saying, you know what, I'm gonna go and scroll to another video. Then that translates to how many physical visits were made at your store. And we measure that. Then we backed out to how much do you typically spend per customer? Most of our clients are restaurants. People don't dine alone, right? They start dying, not dying.
I was about to say, sometimes
Every man.
I was like, listen, that might
Right? They bring friends, they bring family, and so we typically calculate the party size, how much they spend per person, and what we're able to see across the board with our clients is we drive $12,000 in net revenue every single month, and that's about 6x ROI. That is the final figure that our clients care about, but we have all of the other numbers that sort of pile up to that.
that was a whole masterclass. I don't know. Did y'all write it down? Or were you enamored? Y'all were like, how many percentages of the what and the who? Yeah. First of all, yes, we are recording this because this is the best session again. Okay, so if you missed it, it is on the live stream, and you'll be able to watch it afterwards. And go ahead and give us some of those metrics on YouTube, because this was intentional. Did I see it here?
Yeah, I was gonna say that is, I'm like in love.
See?
So many people, but the sad part about it is so many small business people don't know to look for those things. You know, they, like you said, they're just looking at likes and all that other stuff. I'm all about the dollar. Give me some Google Analytics and e-commerce tracking to show me how you come to my website, you booked the room, where you came from, and how much money you're spending. I'm there all day.
Yes, and that's so similar to that, and so I love that. I'm gonna give it to you a little simpler because he has all of the stats, okay? But one thing that I did an article last month, because it's May now, right? And I said we did a free event. So we did Be in the Ecosystem, we did a virtual summit. And on that virtual summit, you know, originally the goal was, okay, we were gonna get sponsorship for it. But life just happened and we were just like, I'm still gonna do it. The point was to do it, right? And so I looked at how many people watched live. I looked at how many people were then watching on the replay, the duration of time that people were watching, the fact that how many people registered, And then, so those were things that you could track very easily. And so I looked at the metrics from Eventbrite for registration. And I looked at the metrics from the system that we use if you want. So this is another resource, StreamYard, where it allows us to be able to stream on multiple platforms simultaneously. So for me, that was really the goal, was to say, we want to get you on here. And part of that was because I said, well, once you get to a certain number with YouTube, you can start to monetize it. And so in order to do that, you have to have people watch. So if you don't have the number of subscribers, that's one way, then you need to have hours watched. So how can I keep you on my YouTube for hours? So what we did was we did a 4-hour live stream, okay? And we had a variety of people come on from different areas of different government agencies and CDFIs and all the rest of that, experts in their field. And the thing is, we had a lot of people who watched the whole entire 4 hours, okay? So if I can get one person to sit online with me for 4 hours, I can replicate that again. And those numbers to me were important because then what does the sponsor want to hear? That you can get the people to be on. And what we did was we added commercials inside of it. And so now the people were able to watch the commercials and see our ads that we put out. Plus we did 2 ads for some other clients that were in there. And they loved them, right? And so in that we talked about technology and AI, but we were able to keep people online. And so just imagine if I did that once a month, which we could, I'm not gonna do it once a month, but if we did do that once a month and you can continue to grow those numbers and it's information that people want, you'd be very easy to get to the point where you could actually start to monetize it. And it's free to people. But as long as they're watching it, then that's where the ad revenue comes in, which is the same thing with the podcast. So even though I haven't made another episode since February last year, the ad revenue is still in there for each one of those things. And as long as people continue to listen, you still get paid for it. So to me, it's an important thing that we create something that we can continue to monetize and we can continue to make money off of. But those metrics do make sense. So for you, metrics.
Well, we were talking about word of mouth earlier, so communications, public relations, I think measurement and metrics are a little bit different, a little bit kind of, squirrely. But what I look for, and what my clients look for is who else besides us, right? So we put out a message. So where else are we seeing the message show up? Have we effectively, so when I hear my language come out of somebody else's mouth, or when I see it, when I see it on Reddit, or when I see it, in the paper, or when I see it in newsletters, a lot of those things, there's some engineering that happens there, right? So getting the partners and people on board with helping you share and promote something. A lot of this would be more events-based or attracting visitors to a physical place. That's a lot of the kind of work that I do these days. So again, I love when somebody invites me to my own event.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, that's fun.
Did you know about it?
Yeah, exactly.
I did.
There's this whole thing that, or did you know that, Sarah, that there's no weekday parking at Sarah P. Duke Gardens right now during the the construction part? I'm like, yes, I do. And I'm just so thrilled that you know that too. And
because
I would love it. Because that's how information gets out. So it's trickier to, you kind of have to take that leap a little bit, but depending on what kind of work you're doing and what the goals are, then you can look for different things. But for me, it's, when my own language comes right back to me. That's always an exciting moment.
It's kind of like a grapevine, but it's actually correct. Because the grapevine gets
well, sometimes it's not correct. Sometimes they'll be like, well, I heard that you can park over here. I'm like, well, you can't. Don't try that. On the weekends you can. Yes, don't forget that part. Yeah.
Okay, well, I love that. So, time check, please, because my phone is up there.
It's fine. Going forward.
It's 4? Yeah. I could feel it. Y'all don't even know. I knew it was time. I knew it was time.
Yeah,
okay,
amazing.
Did y'all love this?
Yes.
Okay, yes. I see your hands up. I'm looking out of the side of my eye. Yes, Frederick, what you got?
Yes, if it's possible.
Okay, let's see if it is.
Yeah. I intend to request service. I've been listening to I know I need something. So it possible to get your business card so I can make contact later?
Of course, that's the
Can I come down
easiest
and grab it
thing.
because I'm gonna be there if I, can I come down and grab it?
Yeah, why not? If they have
I'm on
one,
LinkedIn. I don't have a card right now.
If you write that name on it, so I give to me.
And so where can we find the live stream of the first session?
Okay, so guess what? This is what I did. I just ran it from 2 o'clock until the end. So I'm gonna tell you where you can find it. Go to, I'm gonna write it down. Because, I mean, I know what the YouTube is, but it's just longer. So GIV, because it's Give It to the People, but it's the acronym, it's the shorter version. GIVIT, the number 2, THE, and then PPL.com. So give it to the people, because that'll take you directly to YouTube.
Say that whole thing again.
GIVIT, the number 2, the THE, and then PPL.com. And that's just what we use on social media because our name was too long at one point, so we had a shortened version of it. So I bought the domain name so that this way you can go right there. And what I told the people in the other class is we also have a membership. So if you sign up for that, then we take our live streams and put them inside the membership too. And what I want you guys to do, because we only, if you guys may have learned something new in this class too. So if you will do us a favor and just write down one thing that you learned from this class that improved, of course, your business acumen, and then just give it to me as you come up here as we take our group picture. Ta-da! Yay! Okay. Yeah, you know, it's another group, you know? I love the pictures. Social proof is what it's called.
Yep.
That's it. I don't care if it was one other person, you can be in that one other person, okay?
I'm so there.
I break what you say, and here's what you
I have a virtual card. Yeah. I do LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't do LinkedIn.
Okay, you should be.
I know. There's a reason. There's a reason.
Okay. I'm like, yeah.
I have a personal thing.
But you do know you can put up a business page on LinkedIn. I know. That's really the key. All right, beautiful people, come on, let's gather it up.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody, did not get a cute pen because nobody's giving out cute buttons. Okay, except for this class. You didn't get a cute button, let me get you a full city button. Okay, I know you were new, so get you a full city button. Oh, yeah, you heard about that, right? You know what? They don't be marketing, they don't think about stuff.
Yes.
You know.
Like Maine.
Okay, all right, so, forward,
I thought you were 100%.
y'all are really messing with this. Y'all love the class. I love it. Okay, and then with your papers, you can leave them over there on the side. We're gonna look this way. Okay, everybody ready?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna take a picture. All right, smile. Okay, and then we're gonna do a video. So 1, 2, 3, we're gonna say give it to the people. Okay, tell me when you're ready.
You want us to do any kind of grand?
Do all kinds of great stuff. Yes, I want that. I really do want that. Okay, you ready? 1, 2, 3. Give it to the people.
Nice.
Okay, there you go. And now, make sure you don't put your buttons though, okay?
I was like, this way.
Get your buttons. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Whatever, something that you learned from it, that's good. That's something that was good.
No, I see. I see. I want these business streets.
I couldn't even. Anybody say anything about whatever you learned, just give us something good that you learned.
Beauty salons.
Oh, yeah, I totally.
Okay, so did you guys enjoy the demo though?
Assistant has been there. You know, as a small business.
Connect with those people.
It's, you know,
We have an agent for a bunch of business.
Brown, you shut down?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And at 4:30, you shut down, so you can
it's
start
like,
packing our stuff up.
asking them, I was like, just,
You know, we get in and
what
out.
kind of momentum, I'm on,